So that was a very interesting episode of SmackDown. Obviously, it was a SmackDown go-home show before Saturday night's main event. Kind of told you, if we are to believe wrestling tropes, that Drew McIntyre is not going to win the World Championship. You probably have a thought about that, so drop me a comment below straight away, and please do subscribe when you're down there too. If we are going to go with that idea, and of course we'll know in a few hours for sure, what the flub is Cody Rhodes going to do coming out of Saturday night's main event? The SmackDown main event scene at the moment is just a little bit weird. Now, what I would do, and of course this could still happen, we do not know, but I would have Randy Orton get involved, because no matter which way it goes, whether he accidentally helps Drew or he screws over Cody Rhodes, all of a sudden you can put Randy Orton back into that program. He's already got beef with Drew. He can have beef with Cody. You can set that up. And it also means the continued presence of Drew means if you actually want to build to a Randy Orton heel turn, which you probably can't do out of nowhere because, again, he hasn't been on TV for a few weeks, you can do that. But I also think that kind of builds a little protection fence around Drew McIntyre, because it just feels so weird. Somebody had a stat on the internet, you can go look it up right now. His attempts on world championships and walking away with nothing, pretty damn bad over the last however long it's been. I know a lot of people like Drew. I'm certainly one of those. And of course, it feels... Well, there's two things, really. One, they had a very good back-and-forth promo segment. I thought it was very good. Drew made Cody add in the fact that if somebody gets DQ'd or counted out, the other person is still going to win the title. He essentially took away champion's advantage because of what Cody did a couple of weeks ago. So they are very, very good. Like, they really did. They sold it. They built it up. But it did end with Drew McIntyre Claymore Cody and putting him through a table. And once again, you go back to wrestling logic. That means I stand tall over you before the pay-per-view, because you're going to stand tall over me at the pay-per-view. Ipso facto, we move on. So you insert Randy Orton in there. I guess it's twofold to me. One, Randy Orton should be back on TV. But also, two, I'm kind of leaning, and again, you can check my predictions out we did on Monday, where I kind of drew a line under this, Drew, stupid thing I've ever said, that you're actually not going to get a finish. I don't know how you would work that, but I think Cody Rhodes will still be the champion come Monday. Drew McIntyre can be like, bleh, bleh. But I just don't think you can continue that on. Now, Survivor Series is interesting too, because we talked about this with the World Heavyweight Championship as well. You could feasibly have no men's World Championship match on the Survivor Series, because everybody involved with both those titles gets involved with the War Games. That's another reason I think Randy Orton could do something here, because he can be on team, it wouldn't be Team Cody, but Cody and Randy Orton could be on the same team, and in between now and the Survivor Series, tease, Randy was eventually going to go heel. Although, at the same time, we have done a lot of teasing in the past. Like, anytime Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes have a conversation, Randy's eyes are just drawn to that flipping championship like it's Medusa. It turns to stone. But it's just a very interesting predicament. I actually think that SmackDown especially could do with a shot on the arm, just do something totally crazy, and that Drew McIntyre could win. I think Cody Rhodes is so over as a babyface, it wouldn't affect him. Different times, different characters, different world. But Steve Austin never really had a long run with the belt. We took it off him all the time, because him chasing, trying to get it back, although Vince McMahon was screwing him, was super duper fun. And I know that Cody Rhodes only just won it back on SummerSlam, which was like 3-4 months ago now. But he hasn't really done much since. Of course, he was out for a month feeling Street Fighter. Never going to get mad at people for embracing other opportunities, especially because you never know in professional wrestling. It's a dangerous sport, but it does feel a little bit like we're in limbo. Like, what direction are we going to go? What pathway are we going to take? Which is why we'll just give it to Drew. Who cares? Even if it's a massive mistake, you're still going to get buzz for 48 hours. You can have Cody Rhodes win it back on Friday. We did that at King of the Ring 1998. I don't know why I'm comparing everything to Stone Cold Steve Austin. But people forget about that, because the King of the Ring 1998 was a Mankind. Mick Foley tried to kill himself. But Kane wins the first blood match under the most ridiculous circumstances, because the WWF, as it was at the time, wanted to pop a rating. It was the Monday Night Wars. WCW Nitro was smashing it. Loads of people tuned in because they were like, I don't think we would do Stone Cold versus Kane Part 2 24 hours later if Austin wasn't going to win the championship back. And it worked. Now, you can't do that all the time. You don't want to get into Vince Russo booking, oh, I'm going to do a swerve because it's a swerve, bro. But as and when the time calls for it, I mean, I don't think Drew McIntyre should be treated like that, but he could hold it for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 3 months, right? Maybe you switch it back at the Royal Rumble. I want to make it clear. Somebody put a gun to my head, way unnecessary. I certainly would assume that Cody Rhodes is leaving as the champion. But if there's not going to be a finish, and it's not going to be in the main event, I think that has to be CM Punk versus Jey Uso, I'd insert Randy Orton into this. Somewhat of a schmoz, somewhat of a, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on. What is Randy Orton going to do? And then those 3 stars carrying SmackDown for the next 6 weeks. They're massive deals, right? Cody Rhodes, #1 babyface. Randy Orton, proper legend. And Drew McIntyre, that kind of fan favorite, even though he is a bad guy, that's kind of jumping at the heels of all of them. Ultimately, it does mean that I don't think Drew McIntyre is going to win, which is a massive shame. But then I love Cody Rhodes. He was great here. When he was talking about the fact, yeah, Drew McIntyre, we all follow the Drew template. Like, you went out there and rebuilt your name so the company had to hire you back, and I did that too. Big difference was you got fired and I didn't. It's just nice. And again, it shows he has that fire in his belly. Then he did totally get murdered. And the other reason is, once again, it's twofold. You could put these stipulations in because Drew McIntyre is going to win. Then Cody Rhodes can be like, well, that wasn't fair. Or you put them in because everybody knows that Cody Rhodes is going to be victorious. And therefore, if you have a couple of asterisks, maybe we can find that 1% to 2% of jeopardy where we can watch it and not think it's, an obvious outcome. But they did a very good job here. And SmackDown overall was interesting. And nothing was super bad, apart from one thing I didn't like. I'll talk about in just 1 second. But a lot of it kind of just, glazed over. It was I wouldn't even call it a hit and miss. It was one of those episodes of SmackDown that if you hadn't seen it, well, there's probably one thing that you should see, go out of your way to see, but otherwise you could tune in next week and you're going to be totally fine. And of course, that one thing is Ilia Dragunov versus Nathan Frazier. Ilia Dragunov just wants to kill himself in that ring. Nathan Frazier is kind of the same. The cool thing, and I think Sami Zayn tapped into this a little bit as well, is his US Open challenges do not feel like anything else that WWE does. Doesn't feel like WWE style wrestling. It feels completely different, and that draws you in because it just stands out compared to everything else on the show. Nathan Frazier was never going to win. I like the fact we threw Tommaso Ciampa in there, although I do get a bit of a bugbear about tag teams going off singles things. I just think people need to pick a lane because the SmackDown tag team division is kind of a bit wibbly-wobbly at the moment. I don't mind Tommaso Ciampa going on a singles run, but I don't think you need to have a tag team whatever in the background too, which is kind of what WWE insinuated here. Maybe we're going to do two. And Tama Tonga did it as well. Tama Tonga did his whole yeah thing to Ilia Dragunov backstage. I quite like that. You could actually put Tama Tonga on a singles run. He proved it in New Japan. He knows what he's doing. But you should go watch this match. The German suplex on the outside is just a German suplex on the outside. There wasn't even a hint to try and protect poor Nathan Frazier. Then, of course, Ilia hits the powerbomb and the H-bomb. He gets the 1, 2, 3. That's when everybody's getting involved, and there's a whole schmoz. Tommaso Ciampa obviously wanted the open challenge, but Ilia Dragunov gave it to Nathan Frazier too. So Tommaso Ciampa beats them all up. I guess it is quite good booking because now you can do Fraxian versus DIY, but you can do Ilia versus Tommaso at some point too, and Johnny Gargano was fighting with Axiom. It's the match itself. It was the highlight for sure. I think you are going to have to add some secret sauce to it eventually. Or maybe you won't actually. Maybe the open challenge is enough, If you're going to continue to surprise people with the opponents and you're going to get this level, actually, I take that right back. So it will stand out like a good thumb. Because out of everything else on the show, it's less sports entertainment, it's more wrestling. Listen, I love both of these things, but if we're going to take those terms and kind of lean into what some people think they are, you should have both. Wrestling should always be a buffet cart of desserts, and I wouldn't say SmackDown in its entirety was this, but this match is great. So if you want to go watch it, you should. And listen, what I do like is we're going to get Ilia versus Tommaso. We know we're going to get Ilia versus Tama Tonga. They are two good couple of weeks worth of television matches that you can look forward to. And also, it should remind you that Tommaso Ciampa is great. It should tell everybody that Tama Tonga is great. And hopefully then you can use that as a platform going forward. Genuinely, not anytime soon, but if Tama Tonga became the US champion, much like he was in New Japan, I'd be totally down with that. Guy's great. Of course, the MFTs also had a tag team match with the Motor City Machine Guns. They won by cheating, thanks to Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga. I don't mind the MFTs going after these tag team championships. It's JC Mateo and it is Tama Tonga himself. Tama Tonga won with his version of the Hidden Blade, which I think we're calling the Cutthroat. Everyone gets so mad. Nobody in WWE does the Hidden Blade. Let him do it. I don't care. If it works, it works. And if you are a WWE fan, you're not watching AEW anyway. So who gives a flub? Maybe he's doing it as an homage. And what I actually like most about this is beforehand, Phoenix had found Tama Tonga and slapped him around the face. Said, you interfered in my match last week. I want revenge. One, it's nice when baby faces realise that. But also two, he won't win, and he's probably going to get squashed. But Phoenix showed real fire here, and I got behind him. And it took all of 8 seconds. Sometimes those small things can be massive, so I really enjoyed that. Or then after the MFT match, when they had won, they were all beating up the good guys. Out came Shinsuke Nakamura and Phoenix, who have just been thrown together because Andrade vanished. They got absolutely murked. I was like, oh, there goes all that babyface fire. But it was fine. It was okay. We're not doing a Saturday's main event, so I guess Survivor Series will be the MFTs versus the Wyatts. Although WWE does like to do tag team matches on television too, but the MFTs should win. We don't need to stand on ceremony here, Mr. Wayne. Just get it done, change the championships, And then I do like the MFTs. I feel like I'm the outlier. I think Solo Sikoa is hilarious. Like, it just makes me laugh naturally, which is good. We should do more JC Mateo. I think Tama Tonga, well, hopefully he'll be involved in this US Championship thing, which will prove how good he is. And I like Tama Tonga. We're taking our time with him. He does need some big wins, which is why he'll probably totally flatten Phoenix next week. They have been around for a while, and Tangaloa is hilarious, but they have been around for a while. We certainly don't want them to fluctuate too much. I think it's just me. I just like them. I enjoy the face paint, even though, of course, it's a throwback to the New Japan stuff. Maybe I'm just biased here, but sometimes that happens. We also got Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax with Charlotte Flair just getting involved, even though they were the baby faces. This was where SmackDown kind of hit a little bit of a lull for me. The match was fine. I think Alexa and Nia Jax actually have quite good chemistry. But a babyface doing distraction, interference, and confusion, I find totally wild, especially because there were other distractions on this show, so there was no reason to do it. But my big bugbear, as we talked about before, is I really like the Women's Tag Team Championships. I think if you go through the last 5-6 years, anytime someone's actually been allowed to run with them, they always do a good job. Even when the Iconics won them, they got that massive pop at WrestleMania, so that turned into a moment which made you like them a little bit more. So I just think for now, Charlotte and Alexa should focus on tag team matches. And because the Kabuki Warriors are their new focus, they should just come to the ring and cut a promo. Oh, Oscar, you're terrible. Kairi saying, you poor Stockholm Syndrome person, we're coming for you. Just build that feud. And also, Nia Jax lost, but she didn't really, because again, Charlotte Flair distracted her when she was going to go for the Annihilator. I think given that she is one half of the tag team champions, if you do want to put Alexa in a singles match, just have her win. Nia Jax is at the point in her career, she can lose, and still be a dominant force as of when you need her to be, especially because it kind of feels like she's not part-time, but she didn't turn up for every single show. I just didn't think it benefited, especially because I think a lot of people think the Kabuki Warriors will win, whereas Alexa Bliss here gets a proper win over Nia Jax, and all of a sudden you start going, oh man, well, maybe something's going down here. Like, the match was perfectly okay. Perfectly okay is how I've described this SmackDown. If you said give it a review out of 5, I'd say perfectly okay out of 5. I don't know. It seems like sometimes WWE will do anything but women's tag team champions as a tag team. They did have a good promo backstage. They're like, man, we're friends and nobody else is friends. I think we've kind of gone too far away from that to all of a sudden build it back in. So now let's keep it going again. They haven't actually done their big hug yet, or if they have, I've totally forgotten, so they should redo it. So it means something. I do like them together. This was just kind of there. Maybe Nia Jax goes as a tag team partner, but we don't need to do that because we've got the Kabuki Warriors already. The worst thing on SmackDown, I said it's on ups and downs, check it over at What Culture Wrestling, who I obviously freelanced the reviews for, was when Julia, Kiana James, and Tiffany Stratton fell out in the back. The opening segment with Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill, good stuff, nice and short, no music for Tiffany, she's mad at Jade for turning heel. Jade essentially goes, I am heel now, so I have to win that belt. Later on, Tiffany Stratton is just so damn mad, so yeah, Kiana James and Julia find her again, because they're essentially stalking her, when Chelsea Green turns up and says, listen to me, Julia, I would like to take you on for that US title next week, because if not, you're going to outlast my reign, and I would like to keep the record. Nothing wrong with that, even though we don't do enough with that US belt. But then Nick Aldis, the general manager of SmackDown, goes, no, I don't want to do that. Chelsea then pleads with him, and he actually goes, whatever. He walked off. What a way to mug off that title even more. The WWE Speed title gets more love than the Women's US Championship. I can't understand it. Like Julia, the potential of Julia, you can actually argue she's already realised it given the stuff she did in Stardom. She's a very talented pro wrestler. We're not using her right on SmackDown. Chelsea Green was entertaining here as always. I don't mind doing this match. But for the person in charge to be like, do whatever you want with that trinket. I've got real problems to sort. We need to get Becky Lynch in here and say, listen, what did you do with that women's IC belt? Because we would like to copy it. Absolutely nuts. I laughed out loud. I laughed out loud more at this than that weird American football mascot match we did, which is the worst thing that WWE has done all year. This is when elderly people got together, thought, is this Goofy Wrestling for Life? I mean, it is, but you got it completely wrong. It doesn't matter. It was an advert, right? It's either here nor there, but it did make me laugh out loud. That wasn't as bad as this, because we're meant to care about the US Championship. I just do not get it. Now, I presume, actually, you know what? I changed my mind. This won't happen. I'd have Chelsea Green win it back. I'd have Chelsea Green win it back, and then I'd have Julia going after the Women's Championship. I mean, you can't really do that now if Jade Cargill's going to win, which she should, by the way. Again, she turned heel. We need to drastically rethink what we've done with this mid-card title. It has no momentum. It has no pizzazz. Sometimes I forget that Julia even holds it because she has not one proper feud ever since that has gone down. I would imagine that Kiana James and Julia are probably going to get involved and help Jade Cargill win the championship. So maybe Jade joins these three. That's fine. I don't mind a group like that at all, especially because we do have other groups like Chelsea Secret Service. And then you can kind of turn them babyface, which would be fine. And given that Piper Niven is still out, all the best to her. Hope she is doing okay. But, you know, you could actually put Tiffany Stratton, Chelsea Green, and Piper and Alba Fyre, together. That'll be fine. That'll be all right. Be something to do. But the US Championship for the women needs a complete reset and a complete overhaul. It's really badly used. It may as well not exist, and that's not good. This segment really drew a line under that. We shouldn't have done it. Kamala Hayes versus Kit Wilson was good. I like the fact Kit Wilson's getting TV time. And again, all the love to Elton Prince. I hope he's doing okay as well. The toxic masculinity thing is perfectly okay. I think WWE needs to lean into it harder. I think Kit Wilson needs to do a promo in front of the people to really get over. Good win for Carmelo Hayes. Miz got involved, but Carmelo Hayes still won. Hayes also won with his signature move, nothing but net. No, the other one, first 48 as opposed to nothing but net. That's always a massive plus. There is not much you can say about this. It's the same with Damian Priest promo. He just edited a video this week for something to do, although he did drop his Punishment Martinez line, which was cool. I think a lot of this needed promos in the ring. I think we should get to Carmelo Hayes and The Miz pretty sharpish, and then in 2006, he should be a pet project to try and build up. The Kit Wilson thing can continue. Again, those guys always knew what they were doing. And I think it's kind of the same with Aleister Black and Damian Priest. I like the Aleister Black and Zelina Vega partnership. I presume we'll do a tag team match when Damian Priest recruits someone. But it's just a little bit, I wouldn't say wishy-washy, that's unfair. It kind of just exists. And we have called Damian Priest off, which I think is bad. And I think Aleister Black, ever since his debut as well, hasn't really hit the ground running. You can always do a blow-off match with this, which I thought the street fight was going to be, so that's a bit weird, although I guess we use it to put him and Zelina Vega together. I would kind of send them off different pathways, but kind of oomph it up a little bit. I mean, could they get involved with the US title thing? I don't know, because that's like a one and done. They just need more at the moment. But that was kind of this SmackDown was fine, right? I've probably forgotten something here. But it was okay. It was all right. I thought Cody and Drew carried the main event segment very well. And the Ilia match, like I say, totally good. And at least we still know where things are going. Like, we know every week we're going to get US Open Challenge, and that's good. We can see where the tag team stuff is going with the MFTs. It's just that Women's US Championship. It really does need a big... I would get rid of it and just do a tournament, start again and go, just ignore the last year. It didn't happen. Maybe Chelsea Green can win it back. I don't know. But yeah, that really left me floored. I couldn't believe it. It does kind of feel like we need some more stars on Roman Reigns. On Roman Reigns? I mean, Roman Reigns could go there, I should say, but he just left. I don't know. This is why we should do Randy versus Cody Rhodes, right? That's a big-time feud. They will drag people in. You don't need to watch this episode of SmackDown. You should watch the Ilia match. And really, because WWE is always very good at catching you up, probably tune into Sunday's main event later, and then you'll know where the stories are, and you can watch those matches. Again, we did predict that on Monday, so make sure you go and check that out. I'd massively appreciate it. We will be back tomorrow with our review. I will watch it this evening and see what's going down. Otherwise, please do like the video, share the video, subscribe, click the notification bell, click the subscribe button. Again, there's comments down there. Say whatever you want. My opinions are just that. I'm not always right and always happy to be proven wrong. Video on the screen will give you an insight again into all my raw thoughts. Otherwise, it's patreon.com/Simon316 to join my Patreon watch-alongs. Only $5. There is something else. I always forget. Grillamine.com/Simon. Given it's Halloween, it's 30% off some bundles at the moment, so take advantage of that. Ships worldwide and use my code Simon to get that money off. Come say hello on social media at Simon316. Cameos, TikTok, Simon Miller. Again, all dumb, silly skip videos are on TikTok. I really would appreciate if you're a TikToker, worst thing I've ever said, to check me out there. I just don't know where else to put them. They are proving hard to find an audience other than TikTok, which is a very 2025 thing to say. ProWrestlingTees.com/Simon Miller for merchandise. Otherwise, have a great day. Doesn't matter that SmackDown was average. It shouldn't affect your life. We can talk about it. In fact, sometimes a show being bad, which SmackDown wasn't, should just be a great way to have discourse about it, as opposed to be negative Nancy's. But have terrific Saturdays. Enjoy SNME. See you tomorrow.